South Park premiered on August 13th, 1997. That was about 25 years ago. The show seems to get more and more ridiculous each season, but many of us look back fondly on the early episodes. Right away in season 1, the show established itself as particularly gruesome, which set the tone for the series and even pissed off a lot of people. Today, we're going to start off our series kill count with where it all began. Season 1. How big is the body count? Let's find out. I'm Caleb with Wicked Binge, and this is South Park Season 1 Kill Count. Real quick, before we begin, a couple of rules. First off, we're going to include animals, monsters, and all sorts of supernatural beings. And secondly, we'll be counting Kenny's death multiple times because, obviously, it happens a lot, and each one is pretty creative. The original episode of South Park, Cartman Gets an Anal Probe, is still probably one of the most iconic episodes in this series. Can you believe it's been 25 years since it first aired?
Kickers.
Episodes in Season 1, as ridiculous as they were, still didn't hold a candle to how over the top the show would get in later seasons. And the body counts were oftentimes pretty low. This episode involved Cartman being abducted by aliens, and the boys soon find out that they have to rescue Kyle's brother Ike from the aliens as well. A cattle ranch cow's corpse is found after being mutilated. And although this isn't unusual behavior, after all, cows turn themselves inside out all the time, we're counting it as the first kill. The only other kill in this episode is another first, Kenny's first death. When he throws a rock at the alien ship, it responds by shooting him with a laser. Sorry, Kenny, this won't be the only time you're killed. In episode 2, Weight Gain 4000, Cartman tries to get in shape with a new supplement while the town prepares for Kathie Lee Gifford to visit. But he ultimately makes himself even more obese. The only kill in this episode is when Mr. Garrison's assassination attempt goes wrong and he accidentally shoots Kenny, who is flung onto and impaled on the flagpole. One of the most memorable episodes in Season 1 is the hunting episode Volcano, where the boys go hunting with Stan's Uncle Jimbo and his friend Ned. During their trip, Jimbo shoots an endangered Rocky Mountain black bear, followed by a deer with a bazooka. They also kill 5 fish with a hand grenade, which may be the most efficient way to go fishing. Then, when they cut the trip short and bomb the lake, there are 76 more fish that we can see that get killed. They also kill a ram and even a bald eagle. How can you kill a bald eagle? That's un-American. It looks like Kenny is killed by a piece of molten rock that shoots out of the volcano, but this is one of the many early series fake-outs, as he actually survives this ordeal. The South Park citizens are given arguably the worst disaster survival instructions ever given, when they're told to duck and cover to avoid lava, and we see 3 hikers attempt it only to be engulfed in lava and killed. The mythical Scuzzlebutt that Cartman tells ghost stories about turns out to be a good and noble creature, and he helps save the town from the volcanic lava. But in classic South Park fashion, Stan blows its head off with a shotgun. And remember when we said Kenny survived that ball of molten lava? Well, we did. Only to be killed by a stray bullet when Ned drops his rifle, and he's promptly eaten by rats. These last 2 deaths of Kenny and Scuzzlebutt really set the tone for early South Park as a whole. In episode 4, Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride, Kenny is playing football, and he's killed by 2 players grabbing his arm and another tackling him. Pretty brutal. Enrique, the middle school mascot, is rigged up with a bomb that goes off when John Stamos' brother hits a high F when singing, blowing it up. In episode 5, Stan's clone escapes the pod and kills the 4-ass frog. And Stan's clone is killed when our favorite mad scientist shoots it in the head due to the fact that it's a disgrace to the genetic community. Finally, in this episode, Kenny is flung into a microwave oven and is cooked to death, which is pretty morbid. In episode 6, Death, there's actually only one single death in the entire episode. After a very long chase, the Grim Reaper or Death finally corners Kenny and Death touches him. Episode 7, Pink Eye, is where things really pick up in terms of kills. This was actually the first Halloween episode, and possibly one of the best Halloween specials in adult cartoon history. The South Park creators used the Halloween holiday as an excuse to make the episode especially bloody. Now, just to keep it simple, we'll count any person who is turned into a zombie as a death. But if they're killed in zombie form too, then we're only counting them once. The episode starts with 2 cosmonauts being killed when their space shuttle malfunctions and crashes down into Earth. Unfortunately for Kenny, it falls directly on him, killing him. After a bottle of Worcestershire sauce gets mixed into the embalming fluid, Kenny comes back as a zombie and immediately bites 2 morticians who turn into zombies too. The 2 morticians attack another guy, and then Clyde Donovan is bitten by Kenny in the cafeteria. A group of zombies attacks 2 joggers, and then Baby Stevens is attacked and zombified when bobbing for apples. 2 more guys are attacked by zombies, and then Chef accidentally kills a guy who was just at the doctor's office for a routine checkup to demonstrate the zombie issue to the doctor. Then the doctor himself is killed by a group of the Pink Eye zombies. Kenny bites an old lady during trick-or-treating, and then the big guy in the Let's Get Physical shirt. We also see a zombie splitting a person into 2 in the background, and Jimbo also shoots a zombie from on top of a roof. Chef, although he's returned to normal later, is also turned into a zombie, specifically a Michael Jackson Thriller zombie. We see Cartman cut apart 1 zombie with a chainsaw, and then Stan cuts apart 2 more. Throughout Stan and Cartman's zombie killing montage, we count 38 more zombie kills and corpses, making this the goriest episode yet. Finally, Kyle ends the zombie pandemic by killing Kenny with a chainsaw. But since we already counted Kenny's original death, we won't count him again. In episode 8, titled Damien, Jesus and Satan face up in a big boxing match, and we're introduced to Satan's son, Damien. In an attempt to impress Cartman and the other kids at Cartman's birthday party, he turns Pip into a fireworks show, blowing him up. And although it seems like Pip legitimately got killed, it's revealed that he actually survives. Damien also turns Kenny into a duck platypus, which eventually triggers Jimbo to shoot him. Another episode in Season 1 that has a high body count, surprisingly, is the Thanksgiving special, Starving Marvin. Early in the episode, a couple is attacked by the genetically modified turkeys and presumed to be dead. The South Park Thanksgiving Festival is suddenly attacked by the genetically modified turkeys as well. The mayor calls for defense, and we see Jimbo and Ned gun down 5 turkeys. 1 more turkey was killed by another woman, and then Jimbo and Ned gun down 6 more turkeys. And then Chef decapitates 1 more. Unfortunately, the turkeys strike back and gang up on and kill Kenny. Ned shoots 3 more escaping turkeys. And then, throughout the finale, we see a total of 35 more turkey corpses on the ground. Episode 10, Mr. Hanky the Christmas Poo, is actually the only episode in Season 1 where there isn't a single death. And yes, that even includes Kenny, who was almost killed several times throughout the episode, but ends up surviving as some sort of a Christmas miracle. In episode 11, Tom's Rhinoplasty, Stan falls in love with his substitute teacher, which angers his girlfriend Wendy. The first kill here is when Wendy gifts Miss Ellen a dead animal. And although it's only referenced, Principal Victoria comes in to tell Wendy that her grandmother just died. Kenny's ultimately killed during a skirmish when a sword gets flung into his face. And Miss Ellen is put into a rocket and shot into the center of the sun thanks to Wendy's jealousy and anger. In episode 12, Mecha Streisand, Barbara Streisand tries to take over the world through an ancient artifact. Kenny's death in this episode involves him being strangled by a tetherball net, and Barbara Streisand is ultimately killed after turning into Mecha Streisand. She's flung out into space and explodes. The final episode of the first season, Cartman's Mom is a Dirty Ass, includes only 1 death, which goes once again to Kenny. He tries to start the go-kart, which drags him onto a train track where he is promptly run over. That's a pretty hefty kill count for a first season, and South Park only gets bigger and crazier. Let us know what kill was the most memorable for you. Make sure you hit that notification bell and binge our other South Park videos. But most importantly, stay wicked.